Now let's look at recreating an activity after it's been destroyed by the operating system. There are a couple of reasons that your activity could get destroyed. Um, the most common is you change orientation on your tablet or phone. So if you rotate your phone from portrait to landscape or vice versa, the operating system will completely destroy your activity, your app, and then restart it. Another reason is if the app is in the background and is in a stopped mode and the operating system needs to reclaim some resources, the operating system can just go ahead and destroy your app. Now, when the operating system destroys your app, it tries to make it possible for you to recreate your state when the thing gets restarted. So basically, if the user kills the app by backing out of it entirely, it's destroyed and it's gone, and when you press the launcher button for the app to start it again, you start from scratch. But if the operating system steps in and kills the app, it tries to maintain the state and to supply you with information that you need to recreate the state. And some of it happens automatically and some of it you have to do yourself. So to illustrate this, let's go back to our activity main layout, and I'm going to add a couple of edit text views to my layout. So I'm going to have two edit texts that are both wrap content. And I'm going to call the first one actually, let's put a hint here. And we'll create a string resource called noID. And the second one, I'm going to add a hint with a string resource called withID. So, and then the one that says with ID, I'm going to put an ID on it. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. Okay, so my video is playing. I'm going to type some text into the noID box and some text into the withID box. And this has been running for 25 seconds. Watch what happens when I change the orientation on the device. So, running got reset, the position of the video got reset, the text in noID got reset, the text in withID got restored. So this was preserved across the restart. The way this worked, pause this. So the way this worked is that any view element that you have in your layout that has an ID on it, the values in that view get bundled up. And then when your app gets, let's look at the activity lifecycle again. So when you make the transition from onDestroyed to onCreate, if the user completely destroyed and completely starts the app, then onCreate is going to get a saved instance state that's null. So you start from scratch. But if the operating system destroys your app and then calls onCreate to recreate it, the saved instance state is going to be a bundle that has some values in it. And then some of those values are going to be the initial values for all the views that have IDs in your app, and so those automatically get restored by the operating system. But anything else that's any value that you have in your app that isn't associated with a view that has an ID, that gets lost. So I have all these properties. I have a running property and stopped running, and the position of the view, and the current position. These are all lost when the operating system restarts the app. And I want to make them not be lost. So the way I do that is it's talked about here in recreating an activity, but basically what you have to do is in your onDestroy method, you want to also include onSavedInstanceState, and then you also want to provide a method for onRestoreInstanceState. So here's an example. And this one actually takes an argument, which is a bundle, SavedInstanceState. This is the one the operating system is maintaining that has all your view values in it. And what you're going to be doing is adding additional information to it. It's key value pairs. So this is a string, and this is whatever value you want to be. Put int will take an int, put string will take a string, whatever you want to store in there. And then on the other side, when the thing's being restarted, in your onCreate method, you can look at your saved instance state and you can restore these values. So getting it back out of the bundle. Now you can either put it in onCreate, or there's the separate onRestoreInstanceState call. So if you want to implement this separate from your onCreate because you think it's cleaner, then you can do that, or you can just put it in onCreate. So let's go ahead and implement that for our mRunning timer and for our mCurrent pause. So the first thing we want to do here is check to see whether we're getting saved instance state null or getting a bundle of stuff that the operating system is passing in. So if saved instance state is not equal null, actually let's do it the other way, equal null. So this means that we're just starting up the app instead of restarting it. And so we want to set these things to our initial values. Running is equal to 0, and current pause is equal to 0. If there is a saved instance state, then we want to get some values. And let's create some keys for this. Make this private, static, final, string, and we want to save running counter, and we'll just call it mRunning. And we'll save current position. So I'm just putting the names of the variables here as keys, but they can really be any piece of text. And then I want to set mRunning to be the saved instance state dot get. These are going to be ints, so get int, and then I put the key here, like so. And mCurrent pause is equal to saved instance state get. This is also an int, and this is going to be current pause. There. So now if there is no saved instance state, these get initialized. If there is a saved instance state, then I fetch these two values off of it and use them to initialize these properties. So on the other side, I also need an onSave instance state. So let's go ahead and create one of those. And I'm going to put it after, I'll put it right before onDestroy. So override public void on save instance state, and this is going to take a bundle saved instance state, and I want to put string, and then I'm going to put the key running, and the value is running. Actually, that should be put int because I'm putting an integer value. There we go. And then put int current pause and current pause. So this adds my stuff to the bundle, and then I also want to call super.onSavedInstanceState of SavedInstanceState. And if you do implement your own onRestoreInstanceState, don't forget to call super.onRestoreInstanceState as well. So let's see if that worked. Okay, so I'm going to drag this over. And this still won't be saved because it has no ID and I'm not putting it in the bundle. This should be though, and the current position should be saved. So let's rotate the screen. We're 29 seconds in, and we're 31, and it maintained our position. So it got the text, got our position, got the counter. Now, if I go ahead and back out of it, and then restart, you'll notice it restarts from scratch. Sometimes that's not what you want, but you need a different mechanism to handle that, and I'll cover it in the next video.